What's up, everyone? All right, so here we are. Today is day 7 in the TD Ameritrade Small Account Challenge. This is my side hustle challenge. So this is kind of the account that has been on the back burner. I don't focus on it primarily every single day. Today, for instance, I traded in my main account, made $8,600, and then I switched over to TD, made 130. So I don't always hit the home runs in the TD account, mostly because when it's not your primary focus, you're gonna naturally focus, the primary focus will be on the account where it matters the most, which is, for me, the main account. That's where I make the most money. So TD Ameritrade account, kind of the back burner side hustle challenge, but 6th green day in a row, 7th day of the challenge, progress is being made. I'm averaging $160 a day. During this recap, we're gonna talk a little bit about cash accounts versus margin accounts, talk about settlement periods, and we'll talk a little bit about options. So if you guys have questions, leave them right down below. I hope you're already subscribed to the channel. If you're not already, hit that button, and I will see you for the next episode. All right, stay tuned. What's up, everyone? All right, so we're gonna go over day 7. I think this is day 7 of my TD Ameritrade Small Account Challenge, and I've got another $130 of profit. Yes, the challenge is going a little slower than the challenge that I did with my offshore account that allowed me to trade with leverage and margin with only $500 starting balance. TD Ameritrade, there's no leverage, and this is a cash-only account, which means I couldn't trade yesterday because I had used all my cash the day before. And so now today, I bought 900 shares of DTSS, and I used up all but $119 of my buying power. So that means tomorrow, I won't have any cash available to trade. I have to wait 2 days. So I have a 2-day settlement period. And that's the same with anyone. It's not special or anything to me. It's just I have a cash account. So every time you take a trade, you've got to wait 2 days for that cash to settle. Now, there's 2 ways you can approach this. One is that each day you trade with only half of your buying power. Therefore, you could take 1 trade every day. And then the other route is to trade with all of your buying power on 1 day, but you can only trade every other day. And the third option would be to use a margin account, which means you could actually trade 3 times in 1 day, but then you wouldn't be able to take any more trades for 5 days. So how does that work? Well, with a margin account, they don't make you wait 2 days for trades to settle. It's kind of like the trades still take 2 days to settle, but they know you're good for it, so they let you go ahead and trade with that money again on the same day. So basically, if this was a margin account, I would still have $3,629 of buying power, and I could take trade number 2, and then I could take trade number 3. And what happens if I take trade number 4? My account will get flagged because the margin rule states that if you're gonna trade more than 3 times in a 5-day rolling period, that you need to have a minimum of $25,000 in your account. And that's obviously not feasible for most traders, most beginner traders. And so you can take, sort of 2 approaches on it. You can either do a $2,500 account like I did, or even a $500 account, and make it a cash account, but then you can only trade 3 times a week, basically 3 times, every 5 days. Now, the advantage of that is on a day like today when you have a stock like DTSS that's really, really strong. This stock squeezed from under $2 to over $5 a share. That's a 100% breakout in 1 day. Well, on a day like this, you could potentially trade it multiple times if you wanted to. You could get in, take your profit, get out, get back in, get out, get back in. So you could take 3 trades in 1 day and potentially grow your account much faster. Now, of course, you have to wait 5 days before those 3 trades are available again, but you could be more selective. Here was my problem with doing that. Because I did this challenge about 2 years ago when I did a different challenge with a retirement account. My problem was that since I knew I only had 3 trades a week, I would hesitate because I was like, well, I've only got 3 trades a week. I don't know if this one's worth it. And then sometimes I would end up missing a great opportunity. And other times I would end up going more than a week without trading because I would say, well, now my 3 trades are cleared up. I'm waiting for something like this to trade. And something like this doesn't happen necessarily every day. So then I would have a period of like 2 weeks where I hadn't traded at all. That for me was almost too much pressure. Whereas with a cash account, I'm like, well, I'll trade in it today. And, I made my 130 bucks. Yeah, I used most of my buying power, so I can't trade tomorrow, but I'll be able to trade the day after tomorrow. So, I can kind of trade either every day or every other day, and that feels a little bit easier. And so as a result, I've been trading quite a bit more actively than I did when I had my margin account that was below the PDT rule. Now, it's also worth noting that options do settle overnight. So I could take my full trade, my full cash amount, and do one options trade every day with that full amount, and it would settle overnight. But trading options, of course, is risky. We know. Well, hopefully, there's more ways to lose than there are to win, and that is to say that you could buy an option contract on, let's look at a stock like Amazon. You could buy an option contract on a stock like Amazon. Let's say you think it's going to go back up to, 1865. All right. So you buy the 1865 calls, and you pay whatever those cost. And at the end of the day, if the stock hasn't gone back up to 1865, but is still at the same price right here, you will lose money. You'll lose because of time decay. So you can lose not just because you're not right. Basically, even if the stock goes sideways, you can still lose because you're losing value on premium. So you've got multiple ways to lose and only one way to win. And you can even have the stock go back up to 1865, but it took so long to do it that you lost money on the premium. And now, even though it did what you thought it would do, you still lose money, right? So, that's kind of one of the challenges with trading options. It's an extra, it's another sort of burden in terms of the learning curve. And I'll just pull up the options chain so you can kind of see what it looks like. We'll pull up Amazon here. So let's see. We'll pull up the Amazon. We'll do the weeklies right here. Let's see what's hitting the scanner. RKDA. Oh, RKDA is back in action. I traded this one today in my main account over here. And look at that. Squeeze back up. Nice. So RKDA, the halt level is at 647. It looks like it's maybe squeezing out a few early short sellers. Just about 1 million shares of volume here. Some sellers at 33. There's now 36 on the ask. 38. 31 by 38. 37. 30 on the bid. A little bit of selling going through. So it's pausing, but it's not dropping. Pausing is always a little sign of weakness. And then there's a little bit of a drop. So, we pull up the options chain here. So, we go down on Amazon, just for instance. I mean, these calls are super expensive right now because of earnings coming up. But, you look at this and it's like, you've just got this extra barrier. You see all these different strike prices. You've got, of course, the different expiration dates. You've got your Greeks, and it just adds an additional learning curve. It's not really where most beginners are going to want to start. It's just not realistic. So anyways, the easiest way for me to trade this cash account is to just either trade half the cash balance every day or to trade the full cash balance every other day. And that's what I've been doing. So here is day 7, $130 of profit, which means in the last 7 days, I've made a total of about $1,130. So let's do the math there. And let's just see, 1130 divided by 7. So I'm averaging $160 per day when I trade in the account, which really isn't bad. And I could certainly be trading in it more than I have been if it weren't for my desire to also focus on making some real money in my big account. And so sometimes the best quality setups I end up taking in my big account because I know I can take larger share size and it's going to be a bigger win. And this account ends up just kind of taking the back burner. But despite being on the back burner, in 7 days, this is generated some nice profit, 160 a day. So that's about it for me here. Tomorrow is the last day of the month, but I will continue to have this small account challenge going, and we'll keep trying to grow the account and see where it gets to. Since it is kind of a back burner project, I'll just kind of let it go and carry into the next month. All right, so that's it for me, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Any questions, comments on this TD Ameritrade video, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. You want to learn more about trading? Check out some of the links in my description, and if you have questions, ask them in the comments. I personally respond to every question posted on my channel. And don't forget to subscribe.